My name is Robert Levine. I'm a journalist, the former executive editor of Billboard magazine, and I just wrote a book called Free Ride: How the Internet is Destroying the Culture Business and How the Culture Business Could Fight Back. 10 years ago, a little more than 10 years ago, when Napster came out, I thought it was the greatest thing ever, like most people did, and I thought the internet is going to give artists a way to deal with the public directly, and we're going to have this great market where people can reach right out to their favorite bands, and it's not going to be bound by this sort of traditional record company deal, which can be good or bad for artists, but now they'll have other options. And I was very optimistic because I thought that this idea of sharing music for free was not, I thought it was a step in the evolution. I didn't think it was a solution. And over the next decade, gradually I started to think, why isn't that market happening? Why don't you see indie labels thriving? Why don't you see more musicians going from unknown to famous to the point where they have big careers? Why do so many musicians still want major label investment? And I thought that one of the reasons was it's just very hard to sell anything online because there's zero copyright enforcement. And I started to think of copyright as, it's not only a way for big companies to make money, it's a way for artists to make money. And the more I thought about it, the more I started to question the same things that a lot of people who grew up with the internet probably believe. And the book sort of came out of that questioning. And for a long time, to get back to why I did the book, I thought this is a really interesting subject for a book. A lot of people write about what's going on from the perspective that copyright is evil, or from the perspective that it's like this essential of a civilized society. I don't think I would go that far in either direction, but also a lot of people, most of the people who write about copyright do so from the perspective that it's the worst idea in the history of the human race. And a lot of them are professors, so they don't need copyright. They have tenure. They always make a living. So I wanted to provide another perspective, which is copyright has problems. It should be updated, but I'm doing it as someone, I make my living through copyright. I don't sell books on the corner. I'm not that independent, but I am independent in the sense that I don't have a salary. I don't even have health insurance in the US. I would have a hard time getting it. I created a book. I sold it to Random House, licensed it to Random House really, and that's how I make my living. So I thought it's just a different perspective that I think people should have, because whatever the problems with copyright, it does help us create a lot of culture that I think will be very difficult to do in any kind of collective way.